At dawn, the Cahokia Mounds rise from the mist like ancient sentinels, their grassy slopes glowing gold in the first light. The air is still, heavy with the weight of centuries, and the only sounds are the distant calls of birds and the whisper of wind through tall prairie grass. Here, just outside modern-day St. Louis, lies a landscape that once teemed with life, a city of 20,000 souls, bustling markets, towering pyramids, and wooden palisades stretching to the horizon. Yet today, most who pass by have no idea what once stood here. What if the greatest city in ancient America is one you've never heard of? How could a metropolis larger than London in its day, a place of innovation, ceremony, and power, simply vanish, leaving behind only silent mounds and scattered clues? The story of Cahokia is not just a tale of lost buildings or forgotten names. It's a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about America's past. We're taught that before Columbus, this land was an untouched wilderness. But beneath our feet lies evidence of a civilization as complex and ambitious as any in the world. The memory of Cahokia has faded, swallowed by time and myth. Yet its secrets still call to us, urging us to look closer, to question, to wonder. What happened here, and why did we forget? This is the story of America's ancient metropolis that vanished. To understand Cahokia's rise, we have to travel back nearly 1,000 years, to a time when the heart of North America was anything but empty. Around 1050 CE, a transformation began on the banks of the Mississippi River. Here, a group of visionary people, ancestors of today's native nations, looked out over the floodplains and saw not just land, but possibility. They dreamed of something greater, and with determination and ingenuity, they set about building it. Cahokia didn't emerge overnight. It was the result of generations of planning, labor, and hope. Families gathered from distant villages, drawn by the promise of abundance and community. They cleared forests, shaped the earth, and raised monumental mounds, some as tall as 10-story buildings. At the city's heart stood Monk's Mound, a massive earthen pyramid larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Around it, grand plazas buzzed with activity. Traders bartered goods from across the continent. Artisans crafted intricate jewelry and pottery, and children played in the shadows of temples. This was not a scattered collection of huts in the wilderness. Cahokia was a metropolis, carefully organized and alive with purpose. Wide avenues connected neighborhoods, and wooden palisades protected the city's core. The people engineered vast fields for crops, built reservoirs to manage water, and constructed a solar calendar, Woodhenge, to track the seasons. Their society was complex, with leaders, priests, and skilled workers all playing vital roles. Imagine the hope that filled the air as new families arrived. The pride of builders watching a mound rise higher each day, the excitement of festivals that drew thousands together beneath the stars. These were people who believed in the future, who invested in their children and their city. Their achievements were not accidents of nature, but the result of vision and relentless effort. Yet for centuries, the myth persisted that this land was an untouched wilderness before European arrival. The reality is far richer and more inspiring. Cahokia's rise is a testament to human ambition and creativity, a reminder that greatness can flourish in unexpected places. The city's story invites us to see the past not as a blank slate, but as a tapestry woven with dreams, struggles, and triumphs that still echo beneath our feet. What would it have been like to walk the streets of Cahokia at its height? Imagine the city alive with sound and color, the air thick with the scent of roasting corn and wood smoke, the laughter of children mingling with the calls of traders hawking their wares. Cahokia was not just a collection of mounds. It was a living, breathing metropolis, home to as many as 20,000 people at its peak. That's more than most European cities of the same era, a fact that still surprises historians today. At dawn, the city would stir to life. Farmers made their way to the fields beyond the palisades, tending to maize, squash, and beans. Artisans gathered in workshops, shaping clay into pottery, carving shell and stone into jewelry, and weaving baskets with intricate patterns. The markets bustled with activity as traders arrived from distant lands, some from the Great Lakes, others from the Gulf Coast, bringing copper, mica, obsidian, and even marine shells. Cahokia was a hub of commerce, its influence radiating for hundreds of miles along the river networks that crisscrossed the continent. But Cahokia was more than an economic powerhouse. It was a spiritual center, a place where the sacred and the everyday intertwined. At the city's heart rose Monk's Mound, a colossal platform that dominated the skyline. On its summit, priests and leaders performed ceremonies that bound the community together, rituals to honor the sun, the earth, and the ancestors. These ceremonies were not private affairs. They were public spectacles, drawing thousands to the plazas below. Imagine the awe of standing among a sea of people, watching as the first rays of sunlight struck the mound's summit, signaling the start of a new season or a great festival. Nearby stood Woodhenge, a circle of massive wooden posts aligned with the solstices and equinoxes. Here the people of Cahokia tracked the passage of time, marking the cycles of planting and harvest. The city's calendar was as precise as any in the ancient world, a testament to the scientific knowledge and careful observation of its builders. Daily life in Cahokia was a tapestry of work, worship, and celebration. Families lived in sturdy homes arranged in neighborhoods, sharing meals and stories by firelight. Children played games in the plazas, while elders passed down wisdom and tradition. The city was alive with music, dance, and the rhythms of communal life. Yet as vibrant as Cahokia was, its silence today is haunting. Where once there were crowds and ceremonies, now there is only the wind and the grass. The contrast is stark. A metropolis that rivaled the greatest cities of its time, now reduced to earthworks and memory. The story of Cahokia's daily life is a reminder of what was lost, and of the mysteries that still linger in the quiet spaces between the mounds. What secrets did these people carry? What dreams did they leave behind? The answers, perhaps, are still waiting to be uncovered. By the mid-1300s, the city that once pulsed with life had fallen eerily silent. The grand plazas, once filled with laughter and ceremony, stood empty. The markets, where traders from distant lands once exchanged goods and stories, were deserted. The mighty Monk's Mound, which had watched over generations, now looked out over a landscape of abandonment. By 1350, Cahokia was all but gone. A metropolis that had thrived for centuries suddenly vanished, leaving behind only earthworks and scattered artifacts. The question that haunts archaeologists and historians alike is simple yet profound. Why did Cahokia disappear? The clues left behind are as tantalizing as they are incomplete. Excavations reveal signs of sudden depopulation, entire neighborhoods abandoned, homes left to rot, and fields overtaken by weeds. Some mounds, once carefully planned and constructed, were left unfinished, as if the people who built them simply walked away. There are hints of social unrest, evidence of hastily built defensive walls, mass graves that suggest violence or catastrophe, and signs of malnutrition in the remains of the city's last inhabitants. It's as if the city unraveled from within, its social fabric torn by forces we can only guess at. Archaeologists still debate what happened here, and the answers may change everything we know about America's past. Was it environmental collapse, brought on by over-farming and deforestation? Did climate change, in the form of devastating floods or droughts, make life unsustainable? Was disease a silent killer, sweeping through the crowded city and leaving devastation in its wake? Or did internal conflict, perhaps sparked by inequality, resource shortages, or religious upheaval, tear the community apart? The tragedy of Cahokia's fall is not just a story of buildings and artifacts, but of people, families who once called this place home, children who played in the plazas, elders who watched the seasons turn from the heights of the mounds. Their hopes and dreams, their struggles and triumphs, all vanished into the silence. The fear of collapse, of seeing everything you've built slip away, is a universal one. It's a reminder that even the greatest societies are vulnerable to forces beyond their control. And yet, the mystery endures. No single explanation fits all the evidence. Each new discovery raises more questions than it answers. The story of Cahokia's disappearance is a puzzle with missing pieces, a riddle that continues to fascinate and frustrate those who seek the truth. What really happened here? What warning or wisdom does Cahokia's fate hold for us today? The answers, if they exist, are still buried beneath the mounds, waiting for those bold enough to keep searching. The silence of Cahokia is not just an absence. It's an invitation to wonder, to question, and to never stop seeking the truth. The disappearance of Cahokia is one of history's most enduring enigmas, and over the years, researchers have proposed a host of theories, each one offering a glimpse into the city's final, tumultuous centuries. Yet for every answer, new questions emerge. Recent discoveries have rewritten the story of Cahokia, but the final answer remains elusive, and the truth may be more complex and more unsettling than anyone imagined. One of the most widely discussed theories is environmental collapse. Cahokia's population boom put immense pressure on the land. Archaeologists have found evidence of massive deforestation, trees cut down for building, fuel, and to clear fields for crops. The soil, once rich and fertile, became exhausted. Erosion and flooding followed, turning once productive farmland into muddy wasteland. Pollen samples from the area reveal a dramatic shift. Forests gave way to open fields, and then, suddenly, to marshes and weeds. The city that had once tamed the landscape may have been undone by its own success, a cautionary tale of ambition outpacing sustainability. But the environment was not the only challenge. Climate change, too, played a role. Around the time of Cahokia's decline, the region experienced a series of severe droughts, part of a larger pattern known as the medieval climate anomaly. Tree ring data and sediment cores show that rainfall became unpredictable, and the Mississippi River itself may have shifted course, flooding some areas while leaving others parched. For a city dependent on agriculture, these changes would have been catastrophic. Crops failed, food became scarce, and hunger spread. The echoes of this crisis are visible in the bones of Cahokia's last residents. Many show signs of malnutrition and disease. Disease is another suspect, and here the evidence is both tantalizing and tragic. The dense population and close quarters of Cahokia would have been fertile ground for epidemics. Some researchers speculate that new diseases, possibly introduced through trade networks, swept through the city, decimating its people. While no single pathogen has been identified, the suddenness of the city's decline suggests that illness may have played a devastating role. Warfare and social upheaval add another layer to the mystery. Archaeologists have uncovered mass graves near Cahokia, some containing the remains of dozens of people, many of them young women. Some show signs of violent death, blunt force trauma, broken bones, and even evidence of ritual sacrifice. Defensive walls were hastily constructed around the city's core, suggesting a community under threat. Was Cahokia torn apart by internal conflict, or did outside enemies bring violence to its gates? The truth is unclear, but the evidence points to a society in crisis, struggling to hold itself together as pressures mounted from within and without. Perhaps most intriguing are the signs of social and religious upheaval. The unfinished mounds, the sudden changes in burial practices, and the abandonment of ceremonial sites all hint at a community in turmoil. Some scholars believe that Cahokia's leaders lost their authority, unable to provide answers or stability in the face of disaster. The rituals that once united the city may have become sources of division, as faith in the old ways faltered and new beliefs took hold. In times of uncertainty, people often seek new paths, and sometimes that means leaving everything behind. Yet for all these theories, the mystery of Cahokia endures. Each explanation fits part of the puzzle, but none can account for everything. Was it a perfect storm of environmental disaster, disease and social breakdown? Or is there a missing piece, still waiting to be uncovered beneath the mounds? Shocking discoveries continue to emerge. In recent years, archaeologists have found evidence of widespread fires, possibly set intentionally, that swept through parts of the city. Chemical analysis of ancient pottery has revealed traces of exotic foods and drinks, suggesting that Cahokia's elite maintained far-reaching connections even as the city declined. And new technologies like ground-penetrating radar have uncovered hidden structures and burial sites, hinting at stories yet untold. The fragility of Cahokia's civilization is a sobering reminder of how quickly greatness can fade. The city's rise and fall echo challenges we face today: environmental limits, social divisions, and the unpredictable forces of nature. The story of Cahokia is not just about the past. It's a mirror held up to our own world, a warning and a wonder. As we sift through the evidence, one thing becomes clear: the mystery of Cahokia is far from solved. The city's secrets are still buried, waiting for those willing to dig deeper, to question, and to imagine what might have been. Will we ever know the full story, or will Cahokia remain forever the lost city that haunts America's memory? The search continues, and with every discovery, the legend grows. For centuries after Cahokia's fall, the city's memory faded into the landscape. When European settlers first arrived in the Mississippi Valley, they found the mounds overgrown and silent, their true purpose a mystery. Some believed they were natural hills. Others spun wild tales of lost giants or vanished races. Few could imagine that these earthworks were the remnants of a metropolis that once rivaled the greatest cities of its age. The people who built Cahokia had vanished, and with them, the knowledge of what these mounds truly meant. In the 19th century, as America expanded westward, the mounds faced a new threat: neglect and destruction. Farmers plowed fields atop ancient burial sites, and road builders leveled smaller mounds for gravel. Monk's Mound, the city's monumental heart, was named for a group of Trappist monks who briefly settled there, unaware of its deeper history. For decades, the story of Cahokia was nearly erased, its secrets buried beneath layers of soil and indifference. But the mounds refused to be forgotten. In the early 20th century, archaeologists began to take notice. Early excavations revealed pottery, tools, and the outlines of ancient homes. As the field of archaeology advanced, so did our understanding of Cahokia. Today, researchers use cutting-edge technology to peer beneath the surface without disturbing the earth. Ground-penetrating radar maps the hidden foundations of buildings and ceremonial plazas. DNA analysis of ancient remains offers clues about the people who lived, loved, and died here. Their origins, their diets, even their health. Each new dig brings fresh surprises. In recent years, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of vast neighborhoods, complex water management systems, and trade goods from as far away as the Rocky Mountains and the Atlantic coast. The story of Cahokia is still being written, one discovery at a time. What might still be hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be found? The thrill of discovery is matched only by the responsibility to preserve what remains. Cahokia's rediscovery is a testament to the power of curiosity and the importance of protecting our shared heritage. The mounds stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten chapter of history, challenging us to look deeper, to ask questions, and to honor the achievements of those who came before. The past is not as distant as it seems. Sometimes it's just beneath our feet, waiting for us to remember. Cahokia's story is more than a tale of rise and fall. It's a powerful reminder of the complexity and resilience of the people who shaped this land long before European contact. For generations, the achievements of Native American societies were dismissed or overlooked, buried beneath stereotypes of primitive cultures and empty wilderness. But Cahokia stands as undeniable proof that sophisticated cities, monumental architecture, and vibrant communities flourished in North America. Its legacy challenges us to rethink what we know about the continent's past and the people who called it home. The city's influence didn't end with its disappearance. The descendants of Cahokia's builders carried their traditions, stories, and knowledge across the Mississippi Valley and beyond. Elements of Cahokian culture, art, agriculture, and spiritual beliefs echoed through the centuries, shaping the lives of countless indigenous nations. Today, Native communities honor this heritage, drawing strength from the ingenuity and endurance of their ancestors. Cahokia's significance is now recognized on a global scale. In 1982, the site was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a rare honor that acknowledges its importance to all of humanity. Visitors from around the world come to walk the ancient plazas, climb Monk's Mound, and imagine the city that once stood here. Museums, interpretive centers, and educational programs work tirelessly to share Cahokia's story, ensuring it is not lost again to time or neglect. Yet, the mounds also whisper a question that lingers in the minds of all who visit. What other forgotten cities might still be out there, waiting to be rediscovered? The power of lost stories is that they remind us how much remains unknown. How many chapters of history are still hidden beneath the surface? Remembering Cahokia is an act of respect, not just for the past, but for the future. It's a call to honor the achievements of those who came before, to protect what remains, and to keep searching for the stories that have yet to be told. In doing so, we keep the spirit of Cahokia alive and ensure that its legacy endures for generations to come. Cahokia's story lingers in the quiet spaces between its ancient mounds, a silent testament to the wonders that history can hide in plain sight. It reminds us that the past is never as simple or as empty as we might believe. Beneath our feet, beneath the stories we're taught, lie entire worlds waiting to be rediscovered. Worlds built by people with dreams, ambitions, and struggles not so different from our own. The rise and fall of Cahokia challenge us to look beyond the familiar, to question the easy narratives, and to recognize the depth and diversity of America's true origins. If we forget Cahokia, what else might we be missing? What other lost cities, untold stories, or hidden achievements are still waiting to be uncovered? The mystery of Cahokia is not just about what happened here 1,000 years ago. It's about the questions we ask today and the curiosity that drives us to seek out the unknown. Every discovery, every new piece of evidence is a reminder that history is alive, dynamic, and full of surprises. So let Cahokia inspire you. Visit the mounds if you can, walk the ancient paths, and imagine the city that once stood there. Read, explore, and share what you learn. Most of all, keep questioning, because the greatest mysteries are often the ones we haven't even thought to ask yet. In the end, Cahokia's legacy is not just in its monuments, but in the wonder it sparks in all of us. The past is vast, mysterious, and endlessly fascinating. And as long as we keep searching, we'll never run out of stories to discover.